How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Boruto manga. We're going to be covering Chapter 57 in today's review, and there's quite a lot of dialogue in this chapter, so there's quite a lot to talk about as a result. But anyways, before I go any further, I just want to say, just a short little disclaimer here, there'll be no manga panels being shown off in this video, so I'd love to show them off, but considering the copyright issues going on with the channel right now, I'm not going to risk it, so please understand. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alrighty, let's get on to the review. So the chapter has an interesting start where Code is basically condemning Boro for not disposing of Eida and disobeying Jigen. Bug over here is like, well, if that's the case, why didn't you report this to Jigen yourself? And Code's over here like, well, I didn't want to believe it, and I think the main reason I didn't want to believe it is because, well, Boro's my friend, and I don't know if I could take him down. It'd be really hard. Bug over here is like, yeah, right. I know you. You wouldn't hesitate at the thought. You'd do it anyways because you're that loyal to Jigen. Now, Bug tries to explain the Code that, yeah, Eida's different than the other cyborgs that were disposed of. You can't exactly directly attack her. And I need to explain her abilities to you because, well, you know one of her abilities, but she has something else. But Code's being impatient is like, yeah, I'll just ask her directly, and he destroys the pod that she's in, releasing Eida. Now, Naruto is hosting the 5 Kage Summit with the other Kage, and it's kind of funny because they're doing it over the computer, which I think is kind of funny. I don't know if they're doing it through Ninja Skype or something like that, but it kind of reminds me of how, you know, right now in the world, a lot of us are working from home and having to do something similar, so I don't know if they did that intentionally just because of what's going on, or they just did it, or Ikimoto and Kishimoto put this in there just cause. Not really sure, but I thought it was pretty neat. But anyways, they're having their Zoom meeting over here, and they're talking about Code and Kara. Turns out that Code seemed to anticipate that the Konoha Shinobi would actually figure out more intel on Kara thanks to Amado. And as we know from the anime, there's portals all over the world where Kara members can just transport to, because Kara's main base is in another dimension. Well, seems like Code anticipated this, so all the portals are either destroyed or they're disabled. So, yeah. Code is a problem because of the whole Ten Tails issue, and in order to stop the Ten Tails, they might want to take out Code first, which will stop the Ten Tails, and they'll be good there. But another problem they have is Boruto with Momoshiki, and now the other Kage know what's going on. And an interesting thing here is that Gaara brings up to the fact that Naruto is like, well, he's your son. Are you going to be able to take him out? And Naruto, you can tell he's hurting when he says this. He's like, you know, I'll do what I must as Hokage. So, yeah. Really, really hard on Naruto to do something like this. And the other Kage can see that, yeah, this is definitely something that's not very easy for Naruto to do. But, you know, what is he going to do when Momoshiki takes over? Another interesting detail here is that the other Hokage, mainly Darui over here, he doesn't trust Amado. And Naruto is the same. He doesn't trust him either. Not 100%, but at the same time, it kind of was because of Amado that, yeah, the Leaf Village is still there, and they actually were able to defeat Ishiki. If it wasn't for him, yeah, they wouldn't have been able to do anything. So, in a way, even though they don't trust Amado, he kind of was the reason that they're still alive, and they managed to pull through the situation, so who knows. Maybe we can't trust him, but he did pull through in this scenario. But anyways, after the 5 Kage Summit concludes, Naruto and Amado are having a little chit-chat. And you can just tell that Naruto, he's having a hard time dealing with the fact that Boruto is going to be changing the Momoshiki. He's having a hard time coming to terms with it. And he doesn't want to believe it, at least until the last minute. And if that does happen, he's unfortunately going to have to take down his son. Naruto's obviously not too happy about this, and Amado sees this and actually tells Naruto that, hey, listen, I had a daughter once and she passed away 12 years ago, so if you lose Boruto, I know how you feel because I basically went through it myself. It's not easy. So I thought that was a pretty interesting little characterization for Amado. I wonder who his daughter is, by the way. I wonder who. But anyways, Amado actually hands Naruto some Byakugan suppressant pills. He basically created these in his pursuit to take down Ishiki, try and do whatever he can to take him down. But obviously Ishiki's not going to take them by force, or Amado's probably going to have a hard time feeding it to him, so it probably was a failure. So he just had them just on hand. But the reason why he's giving it to Naruto is this could actually temporarily slow down the progress of Boruto turning into Momoshiki, or turning into an Otsutsuki 100%. But it comes with some risks, as in, Boruto could potentially lose his eyesight, or he could actually die. So it's not really recommended, so it's going to be up to Boruto if he wants to take it. And Amado actually tells him that, make sure that your wife and daughter stay away from this, because, could be lethal to them. And, so I guess we're going to find out probably next chapter if Boruto is going to want to take these pills or not. Anyways, back to Code and the others. So Eida wakes up. Code tries to greet her, and she tries to walk off, and Code's like, hey, don't you go away without saying anything. Well, guess what? I'm just going to kill you. So Go tries to kill her with that move that he has where he has those belts and he tries to slash her throat. Well, before he can do that, his hand just suddenly stops moving, and he wonders why. He wonders if this is one of her abilities. But Eida over here is only concerned about her breath being bad, so she goes to brush her teeth while Code and Bug actually head to the bar. I guess there's this bar area in this cult that Boro had. Kind of interesting to have a little bar area here. Now, anyways, Code and Bug are talking, and Code's like, hey, Bug, don't you think she's interested in me? What do you think? And Bug is over here like, you idiot, you've already fallen into her trap. That's one of her abilities, and as we find out, Eida has two different abilities here. She has one ability where basically she can see anything that's going on in the world, up from the time she was born until the present. She can't see into the future, and she can't see anything before she was born, but she can see everything. So she knows exactly what's going on, which is a pretty busted ability. So they're going to be able to anticipate, basically, Konoha and what they're up to. Now, if you think that's a busted ability, get this. Her other ability, she basically can make any man or woman fall in love with her, as long as they aren't blood relatives, or they're an Otsutsuki. So pretty much, the reason why Code instantly fell for her and fell into her trap, she basically made him her slave. And anybody that falls for her is her slave, and it turns out this is probably why Boro failed his mission in disposing her, because he fell for her and was unable to completely take her out. Jigen, on the other hand, controlled by Ishiki, was unfazed by this because he's an Otsutsuki, so he was fine. So because Kawaki basically is almost wholly Otsutsuki, and Boruto is currently going through this Otsutsuki transformation, they're not going to be affected by this. But Eida over here, because of what Amano did to her, she's not able to basically fall in love normally, or just be able to experience it. However, through Kawaki and Boruto, she could potentially experience love, which is kind of weird considering she looks quite a bit older than they are. I don't know how I feel about this, but at the same time I think it's kind of interesting that they're referred to as her princes. So we have two princes here. Kind of reminds me of that one Spin Doctor song, the 1, 2, princes kneel before you. That song? I don't know. For whatever reason, when I saw this in this chapter, it just made me think of that song for whatever reason. But anyways, I don't know. It is kind of weird, but, it does add an interesting dynamic to her character, because that means one, they're going to want to sacrifice one for Code's plan, but the other is going to be utilized as Eida's future husband, I guess? I don't know, it's different. It's interesting, because one's the destruction of the world, and the other one's getting hooked up with Eida, so, I don't know. I just thought that was pretty interesting. Another part here is that Code actually wants the limiter taken off of him, and asks Eida if she knows the code, which she doesn't. Code over here thinks he can take down Naruto and Sasuke without it, but thinks it's going to be a hard time for him if he doesn't have that limiter off, so he wants it off, but she can't help him because only Amado knows it. And he thinks it's kind of easy because, hey, I can just transform into him and say the code, but it's not exactly that easy, because it also involves his eyes as well. And Amado's eyes have been enhanced by scientific ninja tools, so you're going to have to get Amado himself or gouge his eyes out in order to make this limiter come off. So, going into Konoha, it's not going to exactly be easy for Code, so I guess they're going to have to be doing some planning before they actually invade. But anyways, besides all that stuff going on in the chapter, it pretty much comes to an end with the two agreeing to work together and having a toast to working together in the future by having some drinks here. So overall, I thought this chapter was decent. I don't think this was a great chapter. I don't think this was a bad chapter. I just found it to be kind of decent. A lot of dialogue in this chapter, that's for sure. And I will say, when it comes to the pros for this chapter, I like Code and Eida. Basically, they're set up for what's to come in the future. Code wanting to get Boruto or Kawaki to the Ten Tails. And on the other hand, you have Eida, who actually wants to basically experience true love, and it's probably going to be with either Boruto or Kawaki. Kind of strange. And if it ends up being Boruto that she basically seeks after, then I guess Sarada and Sumi have some competition in the near future. Now, I also find the whole Byakugan suppressant pills element brought into this chapter, and basically being something that Boruto might potentially be taking in the near future, I find that to be very interesting. It's kind of dark, though, considering the fact that Boruto's options are very limited at this point. Either he turns into Momoshiki and dies and seizes the bee, or he tries these pills, which could make him go blind and he could die anyways. Like, holy crap, it might stop the Otsutsuki transformation going on in his body, but he could end up dying anyways. Like, that's actually pretty dark. Like, I have to say, like, I like the fact that they're going this route, because you get to see that Boruto, like, his life has been turned upside down. He had everything, and he's slowly losing it all. And I don't know, I find it to be kind of interesting. It's like the opposite of Naruto's story. Like, Naruto was the boy that didn't have anything, and then he eventually got everything. And we see the opposite happen to Boruto, and he's slowly losing everything. He could lose his eyesight. He is at risk of dying. I think this is all really cool, and I actually like this plot development. I think it's going to cause Boruto to have some interesting character development in the future, because he's going to have to come to terms with what's going on. He's going to have to come to terms with potentially taking these pills in the near future. So I think we're in for some interesting character development for Boruto and his father Naruto, having to deal with the fact that his son may actually die. So, I don't know, I think this is actually some pretty interesting stuff here. Now, for what I disliked in this chapter, if I'm going to be completely honest, I was kind of disappointed with the 5 Kage Summit, or the Zoom Summit, I guess you can call it, because that's kind of what happened in this chapter. But I was a little disappointed, because I was expecting more from this meeting. Like, I was expecting more opposition from the other Kage. I was expecting Naruto losing Kurama and Sasuke losing his Rinnegan to be brought up in the chapter. Because the fact of the matter is, Gaara was right in this chapter. If another Ishiki level threat shows up, what are they going to do? Naruto can't really do anything. He's kind of weakened as a result of losing Kurama. So, yeah. I kind of felt like there should have been more opposition as to, hey, are you okay with it? Like, in this chapter, Gaara was the one that said, I was expecting the other Kage to be like, you know what? I think we should just take Boruto out now. And I would like to see more opposition there. And then Naruto combats this with, well, no, hey, guys, hit the brakes for a second. Let's try every avenue we can. And if, we ultimately can't do it, I don't want to do it, but I might have to put my son down. But I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more dialogue here. I was a little disappointed. I know they brought up, not trusting Amado in this meeting, and that was pretty good. But overall, I was expecting a little bit more from the 5 Kage Summit, so I don't know. Maybe there'll be some more, discussions in the upcoming chapters, who knows. But when it comes to this, I don't know, I felt like there needed to be more dialogue here, and there needed to be more conversation here as to what's going on, because they're in a pretty serious situation. They have Code, the Ten Tails, and now they have Boruto changing into Momoshiki coming up pretty soon, so I felt like more dialogue should have happened here. Alrighty guys, that's pretty much all I got for this chapter review. So, overall decent chapter. I'm going to give this chapter a 6.5 out of 10. Maybe a 7. I don't know. It's between a 6.5 or 7 at the moment. That's how I feel. I mean, I like some stuff in this chapter and I dislike some other stuff. So, again, a decent chapter. Anyways guys, that's all I got for the video. What do you think of this chapter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll talk to you guys later.